Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our channel right here on Watchbox Reviews. I'd really appreciate it, and then I could deliver my best to your inbox on a daily basis. And if you like our watches, you can see them and purchase them on thewatchbox.com with full high-res images, boxes, papers, accessories included, and complete pricing details for this and every pre-owned and vintage watch we sell. Today we're discussing a legend, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore End of Days, a 1999 limited edition that was connected with the release of the Arnold Schwarzenegger film of the same name. This is technically reference 25770SN, a handsome watch, perhaps more stark and imposing than handsome outright. It is undeniably one of the most distinctive watches of the modern era and one of the most sought of Audemars Piguet products of the last 25 years, a true landmark watch. This was the beginning of the Royal Oak Offshore limited edition craze, and in a lot of ways, it's still the best. It hasn't diminished at all in appeal, in stance, in allure, or legend. If anything, it's more highly revered today than it was when it debuted. The timepiece is big, and you can see on my wrist it has an undeniable presence, even a menace about it. It's the 42mm Royal Oak Offshore case, to be sure, and it might even be thinner than you expect, as it looks huge, but it's only 14mm thick. These old JLC-based Royal Oak Offshore chronographs are thinner than the later in-house caliber, and by a considerable margin. Now you'll note that this is the old-style Royal Oak Offshore lug profile, so a hinge lug rather than the later plot system, the intermediate links, so it actually wears thinner across the wrist than the later Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshores with the double plot system. So this one is 53.8mm across the wrist, and if you want to wear an Offshore 42 on a smaller wrist, go for the old style lugs. AP still supplies straps of all descriptions, from rubber to shark leather. I've seen everything from Les Brassus for these watches. You'll have no trouble obtaining factory straps and many aftermarket options. Now, you have that tight pattern of attachments for the smaller wrist. Pull it straight down around the tight curve of a smaller wrist, and you have the security that comes with screws fixing these straps in place. Big, heavy, and valuable timepiece pretty much demands screws, and this is how it should be done on every luxurious watch today, not just big sports watches. As you can see, a handsome strap, leather on the top, matte finish, bolstered down the center, nicely tapered to match the swell of the lugs, monotone stitch with a folded edge. On the underside, it's calfskin to match, and it comes with a corresponding AP blackened pin buckle. I should clarify that the watch is PVD steel, so if there are any questions about the material composition, let me put them to rest. One of the finest qualities of this watch is that it truly achieves a monolithic aesthetic that is very 2001. 2001 for your wrist, if you will. This particular monolith nevertheless finishes just like a conventional Royal Oak Offshore. You have all of the faceting, all of the beveling, all of the contrast between satin and polish, the bevels still being nicely polished, the flanks and the lug hood still being handsomely satin grained. What's important is that because these PVD cases essentially betray every flaw, scratches, scuffs, dents, you know that when you look at one of these that is completely black, you're looking at an honest watch. The clearest and surest sign that a watch approaching 2 decades has never been refinished is an end of days that is all black with no bare metal showing through, with the exception, of course, of the polished steel hexagonal bezel bolts, which are a signature of every Royal Oak Offshore. You'll also note that the fully expressed bezel gasket on the end of days blends into the monolithic structure. It doesn't have that separate expressed form that it has on a steel or a gold example where you're going to see that rubber gasket. Here, it's just one large mass of stark black material, and that continues on the dial. Handsome, yes. Balanced, perhaps. Imposing, definitely. You can see it has a sort of cruciform symmetry about it, appropriate given the subject matter of end of days, such that the register at 9 o'clock is balanced by the date, the register at 12 is balanced by the register at 6, and then you have a tapisserie pattern on the interior of the dial. The inner dial is the classic petite tapisserie rather than the mega that would be adopted by later Royal Oak Offshores. You'll also note that it features all Arabic numerals, and the watch does have a spectacular loom shot, so stay tuned for that at the end of the video. Applied white gold AP logo and a tachymeter ray hot outboard. If you do wish to time something, Over a closed course, a standing kilometer or a standing mile, you've got that sporting complication. Screw down crown. You can see the polymer shoulders for both crown and pushers fully intact, 100 meter water resistant. I wouldn't do it on this strap, put it on a water resistant band like the rubber accessory that AP sells, and this is an aquatic watch for summer. Case back, as you'll note, limited edition of 500 pieces from 1999. You'll note it is a early E-series that corresponding to the year it came out, Audemars Piguet having alphanumeric serials that are sequential. Inside, JLC-based Audemars Piguet caliber 2226 with a 2840 Dubois de Praz vertical clutch chronograph module, 40-hour power reserve, 4 Hz beat rate, automatic winding with bidirectional action. It features both hacking seconds and a quick set date, so you can rapidly reset the date should the watch run down. The end of days aren't necessarily nigh, but every once in a while a mechanical watch will run down, so you'll be happy to have that quick set. And of course, the watch featuring the anti-magnetic properties of the early Offshores, in that it has the anti-magnetic shield internally that became impossible with the later and thicker AP in-house calibers. So these early Offshores, perhaps well equipped for the end of days, being both 100 meter water resistant and, thanks to the thinner profile of the JLC movement, robustly anti-magnetic thanks to the inner cage. A handsome and legendary timepiece. Simply type in Offshore end of days on Google and you'll be shocked by the number of mentions, hagiographic articles that pop up, the sheer level of tribute to this timepiece over 2 decades. This is the one to own if you're going to own just one Royal Oak Offshore. See it and make it yours on our website. Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore End of Days Limited Edition. Whether you dig the legend of this watch, you're an Arnold fan, or you're just a fan of fine sports watches and high horology, big, bold, and black from one of the Holy Trinity brands. See it and make it yours on our website.